Welcome to the DevReady podcast. Joining me on the DevReady podcast today, I have Kerrie McGilvray. Thanks for joining me, Kerrie.
Thanks for having me. It's excited to be here.
Thanks for making the time, and I think I got your name right, even though I did practice about 6 seconds before I said it.
Yeah, you did well. It's a tricky one.
Thank you. That's about as much of an intro as I can do for you, so I'll let you take care of the rest.
Yeah, awesome. So I've had a very interesting career. It didn't start the normal way that most do. I didn't do the whole uni track and went down that path. I actually started as a tradie. So I started out as an apprentice mechanic. So ran straight out of an all-girl high school, straight into a trade that was just surrounded with men, which was quite a lot of fun. But what I found was that my passion out of that was that I loved solving problems. So obviously, being female, you can't really stay in that trade for very long if you want to have kids and do all those practical things. So it makes it very difficult. But I moved my way up through dealerships. I then transferred into the plumbing industry and I moved my way around there as well. I quickly became the fixer. So I just stopped fixing cars and I started fixing other things. And I ended up being with a company for over 8 years. And they'd throw me in a role and go, can you just take care of this so that we can recruit? I'd throw me in it. I'd make it quicker, better, more efficient. And they go, okay, we can recruit now. And they'd throw me in another one. So I did that for about 8 years. And then I just kind of gradually made my way up to operations manager for a project consultancy firm. And that's kind of where this come up. So that particular role was made redundant. And I thought, you know what, I can go out and do this on my own. I want to help small businesses because I really do feel that they don't get access to the quality of employees that they really need because they're so worried they need to pay them a lot of money on full-time wages. So the whole fractional operations management came out of that, and that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, it's an interesting journey. I haven't had anyone go along that path before, and then, as you said, a bit out of the norm for what people expect, but it could be anything, really.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the beauty of fractional operations management means that, you know, you get access to the high-level skills that you would if you were employing a full-time operations manager or a CFO or anything like that, but you just get them for the period of time that you require in your small business, which means it's not full-time. So it's really good. So most clients will come and they'll work with us. They might start at 5 hours a week because their business is small, and they'll gradually increase. And we usually come in, we streamline their processes, make things more efficient, remove the bottlenecks, which is often the owner in the business, because no offense, but it is, you know, because owners come into the business, they do it all, they wear all the hats, and then they realize that they can't scale because they're doing all the things. So that's where we come into play. We take them out of that day-to-day so that they can focus on where they want to take the business, how they want to grow it. We help them do that. We give them the strategy to do it, make sure it's all implemented within the team.
Yeah, and the business owner, while they wear many hats, it's also, they're probably hesitant to bring people in. They're not sure if they're going to get ripped off. I'm sure you probably see that a lot, or they're going to bring people in that aren't going to work. And then we mentioned, are we ready for a full-time commitment with an employee yet? We may not be at that scale yet. So it's really all about how do you, as a business owner, understand the position you're in, and instead of potentially outsourcing, bring someone in to do some of the stuff you don't like doing.
Yes. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of business owners, especially in the tech space, right, they get in there because they're really good coders or whatever they are, they're really, really good at, but they have no idea how to run a business. Often. Not always.
I still don't. I still don't.
You know, they're winging it, they're learning on the fly, they don't understand what it means to have everything systemized and efficient. And the biggest struggle that I see that they come across is they bring in team members to do the work, so that's how they think that they can scale. They bring them in and then they, you know, get all of the people doing all of the work, but they don't outsource the parts that they don't like doing because they still get stuck with those. And they spend twice as much time managing a team when it was supposed to give them more time back. So it's a really key feature. It makes it harder. Yeah, it's such a hard thing, right? And it's so hard to hand your baby over to someone else.
Yep.
Everyone's so attached to their little baby, and we're quite good at looking after babies. So
I think as a business owner, it's you normally outsource. So the things that when we first started, like the things that you don't like doing, you don't outsource that initially because you think, all right, no one else knows how to do it the way we're doing it or whatever it may be. So you start getting people to do the things you're good at, which I read a long time ago, and I've been keeping that in mind. It's you should focus on the things that you do well and outsource the others because you'll never give those 100%.
That's right.
Because you don't want to do it.
Yeah, that's right. And you leave it, and, it could be things like, sorting out transactions in Xero and BAS and all those different things, and you leave it all, and then you're doing everything the week before your BAS is due. All right? Yep. Cramming it all in.
It just becomes crunch time.
Yeah, that's right. Nothing like a deadline to put the fire under someone to get it done, right?
Yeah. So what are some of the common things you're seeing? So those people that are coming into a small business, majority of them probably don't have business experience. When we started, we didn't. I started straight out of university, so I had no idea. Probably still don't have much of an idea of what we're doing at the moment. But we're constantly trying to tweak and improve processes and make things better. Yes. That's the one thing we've been doing along the way. But what are some of the things that you're seeing that people are like some common problems that may just trigger those alarm bells as they're listening?
One of those common problems is those processes. They don't have them. Or they put them together so long ago that they're not even relevant anymore. Like they do it once and they think that that's it, that you never have to do it again. But the things with systems and processes is you really do have to reiterate it every time you go through a growth phase because they're not going to work at the next level. Some will, but they all need tweaks. So it's a constant thing that you have to do for business improvement. The other big thing is the team management. Like the amount of owners that just get so frustrated managing a team because they don't have experience in that either, right? They haven't had that training, or most, right, don't have that training. Often I get phone calls from some of my clients that go, that's it, can I just fire everyone? I'm done, right? I've had enough. And we do the whole talk them off the cliff and calm down. We work out what the actual problem is and then fix it. The other thing that I find often is they have no idea what their financials are saying to them. They do all the things, they tick all the boxes, they do their best. Their accountant doesn't always give them a financial report that they understand, even if they do. So we go through and have a look at all their financials, make sure that get rid of anything they no longer need and give them a report every month and explain what it all means. Do a deep dive and go, these are the areas we can improve. This is where you're spending too much money, let's revisit that. And we set budgets and all kinds of things for them. Another one that I find is quite interesting, actually, it kind of goes the other way, is some owners get to the point where they're like, I've had enough, I've done this long enough, it hasn't gotten to where I want it to be, I just want out. So they get so frustrated because all that effort they've put in hasn't gotten them to where they want to go. And we've helped other businesses, work out whether they really want to sell their business or whether it's just it needs a few tweaks and someone else to manage things to get it to where they want to be. So we have some quite deep conversations with our clients, and we don't promote coaching, right? Because I do believe coaching is really important when you run a business. But we often have those coaching type questions and we talk them through the different options and we try and get to the root cause of what's bringing those feelings up for them.
Because a lot of it as a business owner, if you're talking about very small businesses doing things solo and then start bringing in some part-time work here and there, if they've never done it before, they don't, there's going to be a lot of unknowns that they're going through. And then there's always the unknown unknowns.
Yes.
Not, I know I should be doing this, but I don't know how. It's the ones that you don't know about because you've never gone through the process before are always probably a bit more daunting. And then they're the ones that smack them in the face and push them on the edge.
Yeah, that's right. And, they don't have any recruiting experience. They don't know what to look for when they're bringing on team members. They just kind of, hope for the best. And quite often by the time they find me, they've been burnt a few times in the recruiting, which is why they're like, I don't want to put anyone else on. I don't want to get any bigger. I don't, they're so burnt and traumatized from the whole experience that we come in and kind of take that on for them.
What part of what you do is the part that you enjoy the most?
I love making things more efficient because to me that's problem solving. So problem solving is my big thing. And I do love team management because I find that when you get the whole team going in the right direction, you can't stop that business. Like, it's really, really good. The atmosphere's amazing. It's not toxic. The culture's great. And everyone's, they're working together. They want to help the business get to where they want to go. You take them all on the journey and they just outperform.
It's really just getting that alignment and then having the systems in place to make that smooth.
Yeah, and also having those discussions with your employees and team members to see what their dreams are, right? Because not everyone's driven by money. So it's really important to have those conversations, work out if you can somehow incorporate what their vision and their dream is into your business goals. Because if you can, you'll take them way further and they'll stay for a very long time.
Yeah, each person's unique and you need to understand, exactly like you said, like what drives them. Because money is everyone needs money to survive, but that's not the sole thing or the sole reason people stick with a small business or don't.
Yeah, that's right. And a lot of the roles in small businesses, obviously, like we discussed, the owner wears many hats, but so does everyone else in the team because they're so small. They have to, work across two different functions. So it's quite important to make sure that there's training and, cross-functional teams that are all cross-training and things like that.
Yep, yeah. Having the opportunity to either learn different roles or bring in up training or courses or whatever it may be is very important.
Yeah.
So do you work across a variety of industries? Because then the problems you're solving will be the process problems they can be fairly consistent to replicate across these businesses, I'm guessing.
Yeah, so we do work across a number of different industries, mainly service-based. So we're not really an e-commerce type business, but service-based businesses especially. And business foundations are all the same. What you should be doing, all the things that you need to do, they're all the same. Processes are slightly different per industry. There's just a couple of nuances in different industries, coaches speak differently and need different things to what an IT consultancy does but ultimately it doesn't take, because we have all worked in multiple industries, it doesn't take us very long. So,
yep.
We've got great experience. All my team are ex-corporate operations managers. So we know how to scale a business. We know how to manage teams well. We know how to get them to $10 million. And we don't have a problem going through, being that fractional person all the way up until they need that full-timer. So once they need that full-timer, we'll help them recruit, we'll train them, and then we'll leave them to it. Because for us, that's success. That means we got them to where they need to be.
We do a similar thing. So I act as a fractional CTO to startups for some of the clients that we work with. And the goal is to transition to an internal team. Because if we do that, then they're being successful. They can now fund an own team. The knowledge has been built up. They can take whatever's there. It's actually succeeded. So it's a good thing when you do see that.
Yeah, and I really enjoy that part, actually. Like, I know it's a bit weird and most people would probably say, what do you mean? Because then you're losing a client. I'm like, well, no, because I actually helped that client and I was part of their success. So now it's...
Yeah, you helped them get there.
Yeah, and that's a really great thing to be a part of.
So touching back sort of on like that problem solving side, because that's what I do as well. Someone comes up with me and says, all right, I need to build X or we want to do Y with our business. And then how does it help us? And the problem solving is what I'm good at as well, and the part of the job that I enjoy. What is it about that sort of pushes you to do what you do?
I just really love it, and it's so strange. So I'm ADHD, but my brain thinks differently, right? So to most people, and quite a lot of people will talk to me about things, and as they're talking, my brain's already piecing stuff together.
You sound like me.
Like I compare it to bloody Iron Man and Jarvis. Yep. That's how I think. People are talking to me and Jarvis is up here doing its thing. And by the time they've finished talking, I've already got like 3 solutions generally. And that's what we tend to do with our clients. So when they go, oh, this is the problem in the business, and we come in and go, right, here are 3 different solutions. Which one do you want to go with? And we'll give you the benefits of each. And when we take over that management side, we will deal with all those problems. Unless we need to go to the owner, we'll do the same thing. Take the problem, take the solutions, and go, what do you want to choose? So it becomes really simple and easy and less stressful for them to do that. But I love finding ways to make things easier, simpler, and faster. Because for me, everything's too slow.
I think I can resonate with everything you're saying. I say the same things to people. So when I'm talking to clients, I'm putting the solution together in my head of how we're going to develop it. And I'm thinking of like the code that I would write in my head to implement something. So I'm already planning it at a technical level, not just at a top level.
Yeah.
But then people tell me I also talk very, very fast. So I spit out ideas as fast as I talk as well. So there's it's hard to keep up. So you do find that some people are slow compared to the way our brain works, I would say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I talk at the speed of my brain, and it's very, very hard for others that don't keep up at that speed to keep up. They don't process information at that speed.
Yeah. I don't think of the words I'm saying before I say them. I don't know if you understand that, other people listening, but I'm just talking. There's no processing. Like I don't understand what's processing before I say something like what I've just said now. It just comes out.
And the other part I find really funny too is I often, like when you're writing emails and things like that, right? So you'll write really fast, but my fingers can't keep up with what's coming out, what my brain's trying to get out. So sometimes I have to reread it, and because I've missed words because I've been trying to type so quick to keep up with my brain. So there's a slight disconnect with the whole brain and the fingers, but the brain's off the charts.
I can keep up fairly well, except my most common issue is the last letter of a word will become the first letter of the next word. So I can't keep up that way, but mostly I type all day long. So I think I've got into the speed pretty well. But there is something there about, for me, the problem solving is I really like to understand how things work. So probably with your mechanic background, you probably did that as well, because you have to understand engines and how to put everything actually click together to make it work. So I will consume as much information I can about it, anything and everything. So I know a lot about nothing, is the way I say it.
Yep.
But I use anything I can to draw from, and then that's what helps me create those solutions, because I'm just piecing together from the hundreds of thousands of little snippets of things that I've remembered, or I can draw from if I even forgot I've learnt them.
Yeah. I found it really funny while I was in corporate, actually, because one of the things that I used to get in trouble a lot in corporate because I asked too many questions. And for me, that's what it is. It's about understanding every little aspect and what that links to, what it can impact, because you can't deliver a solution until you understand the whole thing. If you don't understand the whole thing, you go, oh yeah, that's okay, we'll just change this thing, and that breaks 5 other things.
I do a bit of that though.
Some things you can see, some things you can't, right? So the things that you can see, you want to understand the complete process or the system or the IT software that you're using and how that links together, so that you can then make an informed choice as to the best possible solution.
The other approach I have is I like to move fast and do things. So I'll find a process or something that I'm not enjoying, or something that the team has been putting up with, but I do it once and I'll start complaining about it being too slow. And then I'll make the change. I may not look at all the downsides, but I'll implement a change. All right, I've done my job now. Now it's you guys to, all right, I've started it, you improve it now. I can get things done quickly, but then I'm not the one to sit there and constantly iterate on the one thing forever and make it better.
So we always try and make sure that we review them every 3 to 6 months, depending on how the business is going. Because, things change, softwares change, they all have updates, all that kind of thing. So you do need to keep on top of it. And it's not just, it's not a set and forget thing, right?
No, it definitely isn't.
If you want to scale, you've got to improve those things so that you can get things done at a faster speed.
Yeah, and if you have 100 processes in your business and you just make a little tweak to each one, and you get a 1% here, 1% there, over the course of a year, that all adds up and you get a bigger benefit.
Massive difference, yeah.
So when you're working with the clients and you're coming in, do you get more probably pushback or potential issues from like the owners, or is it more of the staff? Because there is going to be some disconnect there with what the owner's trying to do if the culture's not right.
Yes. So I've had probably the biggest pushback that I've had is the disconnect between what the owner thinks the team does and what they actually do, and the speed at which they should be doing it. So that's the hard part to juggle, and our role is obviously to manage up and down. So we have to manage both ways, right? And it's not always simple. The pushback from the owner is more about they don't want to let go of certain things. That's the biggest pushback we get from them. The team itself, some of them are very excited when you turn up because they go, oh my God, thank God you're here. We need so much stuff fixed, right? And then you get the other ones that are like, oh no, why are you here? Are you going to fire me? So, and it's just about managing their nervous systems and their emotions and explaining to them that you're not here to get rid of anybody. You're here to make things better so that we can put more people on. It's not about, firing people. And anyone here in Australia that have worked in corporate, when consultants come in, that's usually the thing that they all, get worried about, is that whether their job's safe or they just roll their eyes because the consultant's coming in and they go, oh yeah, they're just going to make my life worse than what it already is.
Yeah, you don't want to impose that, but it's also that depending on where they're coming from in the organisation and what experience they've had, they're going to be for or against what you're doing. But then they're always going to be very protective as well because it's a third person coming in. And if they know that they've been slacking off or doing stuff, that they'll get found out as well. So you've got that cover
Yes.
to try get around.
Yeah, that's right. But that's why the team management side is really important because you get to know the team and you work through those things with them. If they're worried about it, you talk to them. You have a genuine conversation about it and work through that. And you tend to end up with a really loyal member by the time we're finished talking through them. And it's really effective.
And then by the time they get to that point where they get that on board, that full-time role, those people that are in the business are now on the way to managing people underneath them, not just doing the work. So they grow with the business, and then you bring in your people underneath them. So it's an opportunity for growth, but they may not see that initially.
Yeah, and that's why we try and explain that at the beginning, that's why it's important to share where you want to take the company so that they understand that it's not a threat. It's about making their life better just as much as the owners.
Yeah, correct. Because if they want to get rid of someone, they could do that without you.
Absolutely. They don't need to pay me to do that.
Yep. So what are some key things before we wrap up that if you're starting a business or you've been going for a couple of years and it's not where you want it to be, what are some of the 3 key things that you can say, all right, if you've got these are sort of the main issues that we've seen across businesses that'll help you get to that next level? Yeah,
so some of the 3 things that I would look for is, do you actually know your numbers? If you don't, get some help. 2, are you sick and tired are you drained from managing your team, or are you stressed every day? Are you stuck in the day-to-day weeds and you can't even dream of what the possibility of growing would look like? That's really important. And one of the other things that I would probably focus on is, how much are you enjoying your business? Because that's a great indicator as to whether you should be getting help and support or not. And one of the things that I suggest owners do is, and we can do this with you if that's something that they need help with, is to go through and do a time and energy audit. So write down all the tasks that you're doing every day for 2 weeks, allocate how long it takes you to do those things every day, and see how much time you're wasting doing things that could be done by someone else. Especially if you're a consultant and your charge out rate's $250 an hour or something like that, and you're doing reconciliations in Xero that you could be paying someone else $10, $20 to do. So you need to kind of really reevaluate those kind of areas.
Yeah, I agree with that sort of time calculation and review. If you don't do that, you don't know where your time's being spent. And like you mentioned, that at $200 an hour, it's a huge difference between what you can do at a smaller one, at a smaller rate when you outsource to someone.
No, absolutely not. You really shouldn't. There's so many tasks within the business that should be done by someone else. They really don't need to be done by an owner. And the owner quite often struggles to see the value that they're actually losing out on. So when they're capped out at revenue, they really need to do that audit and see where their time is being spent, because quite often if they can get some more time back, they can actually make more money. And that's really crucial to review and have a look at.
If anyone wants to find out more about you, Kerrie, how can they do that?
I mean, if anyone wants to go through that or anything like that, they can certainly find me or the Admin Superheroes on LinkedIn. We've also got a website page they can come through and send some inquiries through as well. We're on Facebook and Instagram as well.
It's been a great chat. Thank you for your time so much today, and it was a pleasure to record an episode of the DevReady podcast with you.
It's been a really great podcast today, and I've really enjoyed being here, Anthony. So thank you so much for having me today, and I can't wait to hopefully help some of your clients if they sound like they were struggling like I was explaining earlier.